Mamata Banerjee has lost her home seat at Bhawanipur by a huge margin. Her government has been toppled by a party who has never formed a government in West Bengal before. Who is the voter here? Is the voter the same who has voted in the last elections before? Does this change of government mandate a real change?
A more pleasing image, screens, pictures, sounds, that's what attracts the masses. The one who does it better captures the mass imagination and the national mood. We say we are electing serious leaders. Oh, your serious leaders are all just serious actors, are they not? People are not disappointed, they are just bored.
The last few years, if you ask the question, what is wrong with Bengal? What is everybody would say that it is the government.
As if the government drops from the skies, as if it's a dictatorship and people have no role in the constitution of the government. Much higher things are possible. We call Calcutta the city of joy, don't we? Joy is possible. Joy is possible, but not if you are addicted to.
Namaskar, Acharya. I am Aditya from Kolkata. My question is regarding the Super Sunday, countrywide Super Sunday, where India changed almost every phases it had to change. And May the 4th has been with the voters who really wanted a change. In my home state, Mamata Banerjee has lost her home seat at Bhawanipur by a huge margin. And her government has been toppled by a party who has never formed a government in West Bengal before. In Tamil Nadu, we have seen renowned leader M.K. Stalin also losing his home seat, and a movie star who has just recently entered the political scene in the south is likely to be the next CM. And also, the last bastion of the left in India, in Kerala, has been defeated by UDF, INC-led UDF. So my question is regarding who is the voter here? Is the voter the same who has voted in the last elections before? And if it is that, then does this change of government mandate a real change?
You're asking about a very ordinary thing in a very intellectual way. Hmm? Coming from Kolkata and probably shaken by the turn of events this Super Sunday. The ego remains the ego. Nothing has really changed. Tamil Nadu, yes, has shown the most unexpected result. But please understand, uh, almost 50 years, the DMK, IDMK binary, and both were coming from a shared ideology, Dravidian politics. Had the ideology been really dear to the voter, he couldn't have thrown it away, put it aside suddenly, right? If ideologies are real and ideological commitment is deep, things don't change so abruptly. What it probably means is that it was more a commitment towards an image rather than an idea. Therefore, when somebody with a more lucrative image came up, the audience drifted that way, right? That you do not call as a mass uprising or a mass demand for change. That's just collective ego in motion across the country. I've started with one state and We could talk endlessly and go to all other states as well, but it's just the same thing there. Or has there been a sudden enlightenment of the masses? Such sudden enlightenment that they have decided to uproot all that was old and bring in something fresh? No, nothing of the kind. If the CMs have been defeated, that's not through arguments, but through iconography. A more pleasing image, screens, pictures, sounds, that's what attracts the masses. The one who does it better captures the mass imagination and the national mood. And that's what you're seeing. It would be grave error to think of this even as anti-incumbency, let alone a popular upheaval or something. People are not disappointed, they are just bored. That's how the standard ego operation is. It keeps looking for newer objects. People were bored of what they were having since many decades in Tamil Nadu, and they found a new shining face with great elocution and charming looks. And they said, why not? Why not? Obviously, you need the required paraphernalia and the cadre base and the operational machinery. All that is to be there, but all that is just hygiene factor. At the center of it lies the restless ego, looking for options here and there, but never looking at itself. Getting it? So do not read too much into it. Nothing has really changed. The media is abuzz and people are saying maybe, it's a new phase of popular consciousness. Well, you are attributing very heavy words to something that carries very little weight. Similarly, in West Bengal, there was the communist thing for so many decades, right? And then the Trinamool government came in, and very well, coming from the center of the place, a lot of the CPI cadres were absorbed in Trinamool. So what changed?
Exactly.
What changed? Huh? That's how the ego is. It substitutes one object for the other and finds that the other object is not dissimilar, not all that dissimilar to the first one. But some change has to be made to avoid making the real change. Where is real change needed? The real change is needed in the heart of the electorate, in the heart of the individual, the voter. But that change is not to come. Therefore, the voter keeps changing governments. 15 years of Trinamool rule. And something else is now there. Now again, please, when you will look at the TV screens and the big analysts, and they'll all be saying it is because of misgovernance and this and that, and so many things will be quoted, and demographics and the religious arithmetic, and we will have all that. No, don't take the ego so seriously. There is no need for that kind of in-depth analysis. The game simply is, the voter plays with one toy and then gets bored and then switches to the next one only to get bored, and something else will come in. That which you are calling as anti-incumbency is just misplaced restlessness. Nothing more than that. Getting it? Assam, so many decades of continuous Congress rule, almost continuous. And now you can have, 3 terms for BJP, for some other face, and that's fine. Again, the usual ego operation. And then one day the ego will again get bored. Is the ego getting bored of brands, of parties, of CMs, of faces? No, the ego is actually bored of itself. But it dare not replace itself. Therefore, it keeps replacing other things, including CMs and PMs. They are all replaceable. But for the ego, what is not replaceable is the ego. I'll, in fact, correct myself here. Now, replacement is one of the safest ego operations. So the ego can replace itself as well with itself. Just as externally the ego replaces one face with another face, right? The CM's chair was occupied by one face, now it's occupied by another face. So internally also the ego can replace itself with another face of its own. So I was, the insincere ego, now I am the sincere ego. I was the apolitical ego, now I am the political ego. I was the ignorant ego, now I am the knowledgeable ego. All that will keep happening. You cannot analyze macro events without getting into the micro actor. But we don't want to do that. We want to look at things at a cumulative level, on an aggregate, as if things move themselves. No, the mover is the individual ego. And that's something that nobody wants to hear. We will say, oh no, this party adopted this tactic and it misfired. That one was saying such a thing and that got the electorate angry. That party made that particular promise and that wooed the voters. You'll think of things at that particular level. They are not at all happening at that level. Now, temptation is an ancient egoic thing, is it not? So what's so new about it? Fear of the other, creating divisions. These are all very ancient things. But we talk of these as novelties. Somebody was shrewd enough and smart enough to play that card. What shrewdness, what smartness? To an extent, even animals in the jungle are doing all that. What's so novel? What's so clever about all that? So all these changes will keep happening and nothing will truly change. Nothing will truly change because the intent to bring about true change is not at all there. We can keep saying that much that could be changed has been changed today. But from where I am looking at it, nothing has changed. A new face will emerge. A smoother voice, charming persona, and people will gravitate towards that. That's a new hope, a new promise, only to be disappointed once again. Because what can truly fulfill them is not a political leader, is not even a spiritual leader. No outsider can fulfill the one who is seeking to be fulfilled.
Right. Sir, like every time after the results, we see a lot of post-poll violence, and right now it's not the exception. There has been some news of post-poll violence, and the party was like won. Like they are creating, they are likely to create the violence more and obliterated the enemy altogether. So, in 2011, I was very young, obviously. So I saw people who migrated from one party to another, and it is the same people who also is now migrating to the other party. And the post-poll violence will always be always be there because it's the same people.
No, the
And
mistake. See,
also,
please. May I intervene?
yes, sir.
Or you may continue. Your wish.
No, sir, please, please.
The mistake lies in calling it post-poll violence.
Right,
It's not post-poll. No, it appears post-poll.
right,
Hmm? The very name of ego is violence. The ego exists as a separation between me and you,
right,
right? Between the individual and the universe. The ego is separation itself. And where there is separation, there is bound to be violence. If you are not me, why should I take care of you? If you're not me, why should I take care of you? I have to take care of myself. I am the ego. And to take care of myself, I have to put you down, exploit you, even kill you, rob you. Why should I not? That's violence. That's violence. Violence remains as an undercurrent, huh? As a background, invisible, subliminal. And when the ego finds it's of no further use hiding the violence, then it allows the violence to appear, to actionate. And when violence is actionated, then you call it violence. Hmm? Violence is not post-pole. Violence is eternal. As long as the ego is, there is violence. And because you will think of it as temporal, as local, because you will think of it as incidental, causal, therefore you will want to limit it at one place or at a particular time. And that's why you will keep failing in containing violence, because you do not understand violence. The very process of polling might be violent, whereas you may not find even a word uttered, let alone a shot fired. Not somebody's skin has received a scratch, and yet there could be a lot of internal bloodletting.
right,
Right? So violence is always there. When a leader is making those promises, is it not violence? When the audience is ready to sell its votes for freebies, is that not violence? When votes are cast on the basis of all kinds of divisions, caste, creed, religion, color, gender, is that not violence? Hmm? When the very manifesto is about generating otherness, is that not violence? Is that not violence? The violence is always there. The ego hides violence in pursuit of its objectives. And when those objectives are better met by displaying violence, it will display violence. Yes.
Sir, another thing is that the ego always points outwards. Like, for the last few years, if you ask the question, what is wrong with Bengal? Everybody would say that it is the government. But the very rarely people will say, okay, something is wrong inside us and we need to change at some point. Sir, this is also, yeah,
As if the government drops from the skies.
exactly, exactly.
As if it's a dictatorship and people have no role in the constitution of the government. It's a democracy and people have been casting votes and picking their governments. Hmm? But that's again the usual ego tactic. I am the victim ego, I am the hurt ego. Hmm? It is situations that decide my position. Hmm? Or that Marxist thing. Consciousness is determined by class.
Right.
What can I do? I belong to a particular class, therefore I have to believe, act, and think in a particular way. Oh, the others are all vile and evil and exploiters because they come from a certain class. So who's the culprit? History is the culprit. Class is the culprit. Now, consciousness is a mere victim of class. Therefore, consciousness, which is the individual, need not be blamed. Need not be blamed. So, fine. If that's the costume the ego wants to wear, I am the victim. I'm just being tossed around by situations, circumstances, historical forces. Then fine. The ego is seeking and getting pleasure in playing that role. Let the ego continue having pleasure, just that it's a very limited pleasure. One can call it perverse kind of pleasure. Much higher things are possible. We call Calcutta the city of joy, don't we? Joy is possible. Joy is possible, but not if you are addicted to cheap pleasures.
So one last question. So you mentioned Marxism. So, and it is true for this election also. The candidate list with respect to their education and other qualifications has been a little better in the left, and that is the case like always. But when I see their manifesto, when I see their speeches and all, they like address the issues like which are obviously issues unemployment and all, but the grave issues like for example climate change, and Kolkata is likely to be one of the few cities which will be hit badly by climate change.
Submerged.
They never
Submerged.
mention this.
Nobody
Yeah.
will mention that, yeah, because when you talk of the climate, you will have to accept that ego itself is the cause of the climate catastrophe, not not the bourgeois ego, but the ego itself. You want to blame the ego, but just the bourgeois ego. And if the proletariat is to be blamed, he is to be blamed for his false consciousness, maybe. Otherwise, all the blame lies on the other, on the other. Whereas it's not a particular kind of ego, not a particular label of the ego that is behind the climate crisis. It is the ego itself that's causing the climate crisis.
Right.
And therefore, the climate crisis will never appear in any serious way on any manifesto.
Exactly.
Because all manifestos are ego operations. Why will the ego write its own obituary on its own manifesto?
Right.
Getting? So the left might be somewhat better on the intellectual axis, but even the left is not seen raising the most important issues. The left cannot do that. The right cannot do that. Left, right, the ego can take any side. The ego remains the ego. The ego remains the ego, and it's not a political revolution that the country needs. Not a political revolution the world needs. What we need is insight. What we need is honesty. What we need is the courage to love. And I'm not talking about loving the other. I'm talking about love as honesty. I'm talking about love as the courage to let go of all that is false within you. Unless we have that, all these political games and Super Sundays, they'll come and go and nothing will really change. Don't get too excited.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Good evening, Acharya ji. I am from the southern part of the country. And what I observe here is a lot of actor worship. Like, movies become super hit, they gain a lot of fans, and actors see that they enter politics and they become leaders who rule the states as well. We saw like NTR, MGR, and now what we're seeing in the Tamil Nadu state as well. So my question is, what does this reflect on the electorate as such? That the actors seeing this as a way to, enter politics and then gaining that fanism and becoming leaders.
That reflects a relatively more honest electorate. At least you know that the actor has now become the politician. In the North, the politician continues to remain the actor and still be known as the politician. You see, what do the masses know? Do they ever even want to look into the person behind the persona, behind the facade? Just as we have no self-knowledge, just as we don't know who we are, just as we know ourselves only as this face, only as this skin and the superficiality, the personality. Similarly, all we care for in the political arena is the face, the voice, the image. The one who will excel at image making will succeed. That's the mark of the ignorant democracy. You will be a democracy that sells and buys faces, pictures, images. Who looks the best on screen? Not that who performs the best in office. Who performs the best in front of the camera? That will keep happening. And that again is not something new. That again is an ancient thing with the ego. We want things that look nice and sound comforting. Is it smooth to touch and feel? That's what we want. It's not particular to the South. Happens everywhere. Just that the South, I would say, seriously, is a little more open about it. So, in fact, the South is probably saying, well, everybody's an actor. So what's the problem if I elect a professional actor? We are anyway acting all the time. Even in the normal household, what is happening is just acting. People are performing, they are playing roles. There is nothing genuine there. There is very little heart and very little love. There is just performance. Performance. So everybody is anyway an actor. So what's the harm if we elect a declared actor, a professional actor? The North, we would say then, can be, in comparison, accused of hypocrisy. We say we are electing serious leaders. Oh, your serious leaders are all just serious actors, are they not? And on their bio, they don't even disclose that. You won't find their filmography there, whereas they are shooting all the time. So, we don't know what sits within us. How will we ever know or even want to know what sits within the person in front of us, the one who has come to seek our vote? People get married without knowing each other at all. And I'm not talking of only arranged marriages. Even in the so-called love affairs, people date each other and the courtship lasts 5 years. And still, how much do they know each other? They won't know each other because knowing is not particular to the other. When you can't look with any seriousness, any intent in the mirror at yourself, how will you know the other? Hmm? It's not about politics. It's about who we are. It's about how the common man is. We are superficial. We are beings of shallow surfaces. Everything with us is skin deep. We don't dare to dig deep. Depth scares us, and the actors, the politicians, they know that. They are not manipulators. They are just marketers. They are giving us what we want. The demand pre-exists the supply.
When I was a child, before I got my right to vote, in my state, I saw a leader who was learned, like who could know what is economics, what is, what the people go through education, all that. So seeing him, I told my parents, why don't you vote this person? But they were like, yeah, you're right that this person is learned. But if I vote to this person, my vote goes for a waste because he'll anyway not end up winning. So it was very shocking to know that that he can be a right.
Right. You see, this is just with all due regards to your parents and family. Love demands the courage of aloneness. I don't need to follow the crowd. That's love, right? I know this to be right, and I'll go with it. I won't care too much for what the crowd is saying or doing. Not that I won't know. Maybe I'll have a look at the crowd. Maybe I'll sense their mood. But that would not make me follow them. Right? So, you see, where there is no insight, when we do not know what's within, we are loveless. These two go hand in hand. Ignorance of the self and lovelessness. Lovelessness in every aspect of life. And where there is lovelessness, there is a lot of crowd. Lot of crowd. Lot of crowd. So you look at others, you look at the predictions, you look at trends, and you do what you're supposed to do. Right? And when that kind of a thing is there, obviously no real change can happen, because real change demands individual courage. Real change is not something of the crowd. When you're shown a picture of revolutions, let's say the French Revolution, what you're typically shown is a massive crowd, and a siege, somebody being hanged, the palace being burnt, or something of the kind, right? That's a misleading picture. We are being made to think that revolutions belong to crowds. No, revolutions belong to the individual. Revolutions belong to the burning heart. Revolutions belong to sincere intent. We don't have that in our personal life. How will we have that in our social or political life? Therefore, to think of a great change through politics is just wishful thinking, won't materialize.
Then what is the responsibility of the common voter now, Acharya? Is there any fruitful manner that we can indulge in the electoral process?
Bring them, bring them to us. Let them come here. I don't know how do I say that more seriously. Had there been some other way, you would have found me there, not here. This is the way. What we are doing here right now is the way. The way. Had there been some other way, why would I waste my time here? But people in our community don't seem to realize that or acknowledge that. Maybe they do realize, but they don't want to acknowledge. This is the way. Bring the entire country here, bring the whole world here. If you really want things to change from the center. Otherwise, you can, keep toppling governments. And unseating chief ministers and think that you have done something massive.
Self-knowledge gives the right priority in that case.
That sounds so simple, so mundane, so hackneyed, even boring, no? With self-knowledge, you do all the right things. That's revolutionary. That's fire. But it's been repeated so many times that it has started sounding familiar, therefore boring. What you just uttered, that small sentence, is love itself. It's a blaze. But it sounds so lukewarm. Just because we have grown familiar to the sound. Therefore, when I repeat that endlessly, it ceases to have effect. What else can I do? Repeat that, maybe in different forms, different words, different ways. Put on robes, throw some jokes at you. Maybe another performance is coming your way. Something. Just to bring home that very simple thing. Unless you change from here, all change that you're trying for on the outside is just self-deception. Changing governments is a consolation.
Thank you, Acharya.
Just download the Acharya Prashant app, and there you go to the community section, and you have live testimonials streaming in at the rate of 1 every 5 minutes. I'm seeing lives change in thousands, if not millions, every day in front of my own eyes. We are doing it.
Right.
We have actually done it.
Join the community of more than 2 lakh participants on the Acharya Prashant app. Your first month is completely free. You'll get full access to Gita Mission. On the app, you will get regular live sessions, daily exclusive conversations with Acharya Prashant, access to the vibrant Gita community, wisdom exams, curated news, audiobooks, quotes, and much more. Search Acharya Prashant on Google Play Store or Apple App Store and download now.